This is my 2014, well, it's not mine. It's, might be the wife's. Well, we'll call it the wife's because we had to give up her car to buy another truck for me. That's a whole nother story. Anyways, so this is the wife's 2014 Fiesta ST. It was originally mine. My wife drives it most of the time now. I don't drive it a whole lot. This was originally my car. I enjoyed driving it. This is actually probably one of my all-time favorite cars, if not my all-time favorite car. So I'm taking it now to go get it cleaned before I do a walk around on it, because I like stuff to be pretty clean. You're probably hear in the background going through it. About this car, for those of you who don't know about them, 200 horsepower in a car the size of a Honda CRX, maybe a little bit bigger than a CRX. I tell you right now, it's not much bigger than my side-by-side. So it's got 200 horse. These cars are not fast. They are particularly spunky, as I would put it. They handle the track really well. I've had this one at the firm a few times playing with it. Even had my wife go around in it, and she didn't lose control of it, so that's impressive enough. Although my wife is, to be honest with you, got pretty good behind the wheel, which is frightening all on her own. But friends of mine have found that out the one day we did go-karts, where I found out my wife was sandbagging everybody. Love you, babe. You were. I don't care what you say. So, yeah, we're gonna check this out today, mainly because I got time for a change, mainly because I've stopped playing so much crap on the weekends. So yeah, you can hopefully hear it in the background, a few things that are done to it. It does have a tune in it. I'm unsure of the tune. I bought this car used with 93,000 miles on it, and when I bought it, I knew something was up, because I had driven a few of these in the past that I debated on buying, and I didn't. Lots of reasons why we didn't buy it. So we finally got one. This one we bought, it had 93,000 miles on it. It already had a 3-inch catback MBRP on it, which I was not upset about. Also didn't know until I went and looked at the car, because I actually imported the car all the way from, I believe it was Washington, D.C. area, Maryland, somewhere around there. I had it trucked down here through CarMax, and that's why I bought it through, which, by the way, I used to work for CarMax. I would still, and have still, bought vehicles from them. They stand behind everything they sell. I know there's a bunch of, they get a bad rep, but the short version is, if you buy one from them, just go get it looked at. It's like any other used car, you know, buy it, go look at it, take it to a mechanic, pay X amount of dollars. I know personally in my shop, I charge about 50 bucks just to look the car over, as long as there's no diagnostics, you know, put it in the air, check all the suspension, look at brakes, tires, all that kind of fun stuff. Stuff that you should do when you buy a used car. A lot of people don't anymore. Used car prices right now are insanity. Anyways, back to this thing. Sure enough, so I bought this. It had 93 on it. We paid a little over 12 grand for it, which I thought was actually a pretty good price. I'll be honest with you. Also, I'm surprised there's the fuel light. I'm surprised these cars don't sell more often, or these cars aren't more popular. They are very capable. I have a couple friends that, and a customer that they rally theirs, and like they actually take it off road, they jump it, they do all that kind of stuff, and they all hold up well. For those of you who don't know, there's a car named Toothless that runs out at SCCA Rallycross. That car, I have a lot of respect for that car and the drivers, because they not only, they drive that car, they don't just use it for rally and park it. Like I hear stories from other people around where they live going, hey, yeah, that thing goes by all the time. I'm like, that's cool. Which that car was really cool, because that car was bought as a wreck. They put it all together and made it as so it's a salvage title car now. But still super cool. I'm a little bit jealous of that. I just, however, do not have the means in my life to take on a project where I can buy something that potentially I'm going to lose a bunch of money on, and because it's an accident, so I just can't do it. So in the meantime, I'm going to take this thing through the car wash. And then go put gas in it, because that little beep you heard was a gas light. And anybody who shares a car with their significant other, I'm guilty of this too, not just my wife, knows that sometimes you'll get in it and the last person who drove it was either too tired or too lazy, myself in said statement, to go and put gas in it. So I'll do that as soon as I get done going through the car wash. Here we go, going through the car wash. Yes, it's a drive-through, in case you're wondering. I do use these, this one in particular, because I haven't so far had any damage to a vehicle. right, so I'm out, put gas in the car, got it cleaned, yada yada, so on and so forth. This is a little bit of a rant because I don't understand why. Like, what is the deal with parking lots? They're all the same, they're just different designs. It's cool, like no big deal. Why can't y'all find parking spots? Like, what is so complicated about driving around finding a parking spot? I'll never understand it. My wife knows that I hate them. All right, now that nobody's behind me. This one's in pretty solid shape overall. I absolutely love this car. This is probably one of my favorite cars of all time, as I have already said. It is completely stock on the outside with the exception of an MBRP exhaust, which is a dual tip 3-inch catback. As you can see, it has some miles on it. It's not lowered, it's all stock suspension, mainly because I don't see the need. This car actually handles extremely well. It does really well around the track. I've taken it to the Firm. While this isn't the fastest time in the world, people who know the Firm, which is a track in North Florida, it ran a 1:29.3, I think was its best time around that place with me behind the wheel. Stock brakes, not even upgraded brake pads. It does have a tune, does have an intake. This one has seen a total of now of 115,000 miles. I am the 4th owner, I believe is what it is, or my wife's the 4th owner, however you want to phrase it. So yeah, it's seen a few people, but you can see it's in pretty good shape overall. It has had a couple things repainted. Obviously this rear bumper has been resprayed because I don't know if you can see it, but it doesn't quite match. It's okay, you know, most of the time. There's no accidents on the car, so I wasn't worried about it when I bought it because I did get a Carfax. The nickname of the car is Gizmo, as you can see. Why we called it Gizmo, I have no idea, but I kind of liked it, and it just stuck. So underneath the hood is dirt. I know, imagine that. Who knew? A car that gets driven has dirt. As you can see, it does have a engine intake. Before you ask, why is it chrome? Because I know you don't like chrome. I don't. I hate chrome with passion. But why is it chrome? That's what was available when I bought it. It was a kind of a fiasco. I don't know if you noticed, but today's world, getting parts is a nightmare. I wanted the black one to match the rest of the car. However, they didn't have it, and they weren't going to get it, and it was back ordered. So they sold me the chrome one at a little bit of a discount, which, you know, it is what it is. It's underneath the hood of a car. So that little motor underneath that is cover, which to the life of me, I think you only put on here to make things look pretty, which, whatever. It just pops up for those of you who don't know. This is a little 1.6 liter turbo car. Puts down about 200 horse, give or take, you know. It is, that's, you know, the crank. See, they just come on and off. I don't know why they're there. I think they're just there to look pretty. Wow. I don't know if y'all heard that. Yeah, I for buying a Jeep. That's funny. Back to this. Yeah, it does have a tune in it. I don't know what tune it is. I did not put it in there. It was in when I bought it. Ask me how I know. Well, when you're a mechanic and you know how to look at stuff, I can look at a computer and find out what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to only push around 19 psi, you know, boost pressure. It's about 24, 25 right now, so I know it's been kicked up a little bit. I don't know what it does to it. It's how I bought it. Aside from that, something I love about these cars, these cars have the right amount of tech. Like, this is a proximity key, and to unlock it, all you do is push this little button with the key around it. And I'll lock it because I had it unlocked. Wait a second. It unlocks it. It's great. I love it. That's the way it should have been done. There's just the right amount of tech in these cars. Just enough to where it won't keep you distracted, but enough that you're happy with it. Pretty basic interior. They come with Recaro seats. Mine does not have the Recaros. That is an option. I wish I did, because the Recaros also have heated seats. I have not had the pleasure of being in one that has Recaros, so I don't know how comfortable they are. I know these seats are actually rather comfortable. Back seats, as you can imagine, not a crazy amount of room. These cars are little. They are a Fiesta, but I'm gonna tell you now, you can fit 4 adults in this car, and fluffy ones like me. 4 adults in this car comfortably. They can ride in it because we've done it. It wasn't our first choice, just lack of options at the time. So as you can see, everything's pretty basic on the interior. The headliner is nice. Like, it's all, the fit and finish is actually pretty solid. I like how the button is underneath here, so you can just open it, which is super cool. As you can see, there's stuff in the back. These cars get used. They're not show cars. Get over it. Talking to myself mainly because I don't like doing that, but whatever. Same thing. So the passenger side also has the button for the lock. As you see, it's locked now. Wait a second. And then unlock. And it's unlocked. So as you can see, when we bought this, we were very fortunate. We got the Fiesta ST rubber floor mats, which I am super happy about because I'm a mechanic. Cool things, I like how the mirrors fold in. That helps when you go through the car wash. They also go the other way. And yeah, stock tires, they're General G Maxes. They work. These cars do come with fog lights. I actually really like the front of this car. Yeah. All right. The wife walked out to talk to me for a minute. You know, things. Back to the front of the car. It's a very good looking front end. I actually have a front lip to go underneath this to kind of complete it because I think it's really missing that. As soon as I put it on, I might even do a video of me putting it on, depending on what I do. It is 4th of July weekend, so, but as you can see, it's actually a very good looking little car. Emphasis, these cars are small. They are not big. They are very useful. The back seats fold down, which is super nice because it's a hatchback. I'm actually converted my wife. She at first didn't like hatchbacks. She now likes hatchbacks. You're welcome, babe. Love you. So we'll actually go into the car now. So as you can see, it's actually got a lot of room. I am not a small guy. I'm fluffy. As most of you know, the people that are actually still, you know, or the people that are watching it know this. One thing that I will never understand, there's got to be a reason for it. I just don't know what it is, and I'm sure somebody out there in the Fiesta world or Ford world or whatever you want to call it can explain it to me. Why did you put the push button start right there? There. Like, to start it, you gotta like get in the car, and then you kind of gotta reach your hand either awkwardly this way or awkwardly this way, you know, through the steering wheel, you know, whatever, or like this. So that's how you start it. I mean, I love that it's a push button start. I just don't get it, and I really don't get it because if you look on the steering column, like, you can see the embossment of a key. Now, I'm sure this is for lower model Fiestas and all that kind of stuff. And I get that you do that stuff so that way it costs things. Well, why didn't you put the push button down there? Like, how much easier would it have been? You get in the car, cool, and you just go like this. Where you're used, you know, it's easily accessible. So I don't understand why Ford didn't move this to here. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. Whatever. AC controls on these cars, they all work, like, and they work amazingly. But they do feel a little chintzy. Like, you can kind of hear it and feel it. Like, you know, whatever, it's cool. It's a cheap car, so I do get it. Cool features are that I can't show you right this second. Because why? Because it's bright outside. They have a button, and it took me a minute to figure this out at first. This one right here. Now you're like, what is that symbol? You're like, that looks like the night and the sun are doing rabbit things. So what that actually does is there's colors that you're not gonna be able to see right now. They put like little neon lights all throughout the car. Super cool. I absolutely love it. At night, which I'll probably do one before, you know, I think we're gonna go do something tonight, all depending on. I'll probably get some video as long as I can convince my wife to be on camera. It's not, she was a techie. She had a theater major when minor. Yeah, one of them words. When she was in college, so she likes to be behind the scenes. She doesn't like to be on camera. Me, I could care less because I act like an idiot anyway, so I might as well have proof of it and documentation. So that way, years from now, I can look at this and go, yep, I'm a moron. Not that I don't know that now. The stereo in this car is made by Sony. I will be honest with you, I really like the way it sounds. It has enough bass in it, enough treble that it sounds good, but it's not overly done. Once again, these cars are not the most, I don't know what the word for it. They're not the highest class, but to be honest with you, I love this car. I've said it probably 4 times already, and I don't care. Like, this car is fun to drive on the street. It gets on the highway when you're on a road trip, 38 miles per gallon. I mean, you can't go wrong. Before all you go, well, you're lying. No, I'm not. And I didn't believe it either. We took it up to my my brother's retirement ceremony, and we couldn't believe it either. Like, we got up from Florida to Maryland and back. I think we only spent like $140 in fuel. We were actually super impressed, also super excited. Also, we weren't uncomfortable, which you can only imagine. Being in a little car for, 12 hours, you kind of get uncomfortable. But I'll be honest with you, we were super comfortable. So, yeah. The other thing with these cars that I actually like, as you can see, this one does have the older, or I think the 2nd gen is Sync, and also we have Gizmo in the background. I like this version. I had Sync 3 in a truck that I owned previous. It worked well. There was nothing wrong with it. I prefer this one, and y'all can call me crazy. It's fine. This is why it's my YouTube channel, my review. You don't have to like it. You can disagree, and by all means, so this one has nav, which is up there in the corner, and it works. It is a little laggy, I will say that, but it does work. The thing I like, and this is what I was getting at, there's some stuff in the center console. Once again, I don't drive this much anymore. The wife does. There's a USB in the, a micro SD card, or not micro, it's an SD card that goes in the center console that actually is what is the maps. So I'm gonna tell you now, because I've already looked into it. This one is a little old. I think this chip or SD card is from 2016. So you can imagine, we don't use it a whole lot. We mainly use our phones because of the traffic updates when we do take trips. But it's nice because you can go on Amazon and buy another SD card with the updated maps, and it doesn't cost $400. So I really like that. And we do use it. We use it on the road trip when we did go up to Maryland. We did use it then, mainly because I like having it there. That's the other thing. Like, this screen is not super big, but I'll be honest with you, I really like it. It's just the right size, so it's not super distracting. My wife does not like bright things when she's driving. I don't know how. She's a redhead and, she's a glowworm. But she doesn't like it, so she can actually turn the screen off fairly easy or turn it down. So she actually likes it. And my wife came from a very basic world. She came from the middle of nowhere, Missouri, so she met me while she was in college. Yeah, you should apologize to her now. I do all the time. She kind of got the short end of that one. What she sees in me, I'll never understand. But moving on. The radio. It's a good size, so it has a lot of features. The sound quality is actually really good for what it is. The phone works flawlessly. What's super nice is it gets text messages that can be read to you. You can respond to them. It's actually super good. And it actually works really well. It's hilarious though, because if you have friends like I do that like to text you when they find out you're driving this, or they're in the car, or vice versa or whatever, and you hit listen, there's some curse words that have been said across these speakers that, yep, I love my friends. I wouldn't trade them for anything. They're a lot of fun, obviously, because they're friends of mine. But yeah, they mess with me pretty hardcore about it. This does have Sirius satellite radio. I do use it when I drive it. I don't know if my wife really uses it. I think she does, but I'm not sure. We have it, we pay for it, but I'm a huge music buff. I would demonstrate the sound, but going through a GoPro, it's not going to sound very good, and you guys all know that. So yeah, back to the car. Does have traction control, as you can see, right here. It does work. The one thing I really wish that you could do is you can't really turn it off completely without disconnecting stuff. You can sort of turn it off. You can make it less aggressive, but it's still there, which kind of sucks. And I'm sure there's a way around it. I haven't researched it because I honestly don't care that much. So, yeah. Other things, I really like the steering wheel controls in this car. I think they were in a very good spot. It's very comfortable when you have to use them. I do use them quite a bit. Super nice. Does have cruise control, does control, you know, the voice activation. I'm not going to go through all that. The only thing, I mean, it's not a bad thing. How you cycle through that screen right there is either you use this button down here or you use the one on the side. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It works. So as you can see, this car gets mainly short trips now. I don't drive it very often. My wife drives it and she works from home. So you can see it's still getting 31 even with short trips. And short trips are kind of what can kill your fuel economy. And those of you who don't know, when a car is cold, it adds more fuel. It's to keep it, you know, to get it to a state where it's happier. There's a lot of technical stuff behind that. I'm not going to get into it. So yeah, I'm a mechanic for a living, have been for God knows how long. I think 20 years, but whatever. So yeah, when I'm driving it, I drive it longer distances. I drive it to my shop, which is like an hour from the house, give or take 15 or 20 minutes, depending on traffic. So it gets, on a regular basis, it's usually in the 33 to 34 range on the meter. So a couple weird things. Yes, I know the wrench light is on. That means it needs an oil change. It popped on earlier this week. Don't yell at me. Once again, I'm a mechanic. So you see this little pocket right here. Maybe you can see it. I don't know. There's a little pocket right here, and it does one thing. I don't get why they did this. That's where the brights indicator is. Okay, I mean, sure, why not? It'll work. So yeah. Sound system, power windows are all, I think the only one that goes auto up and down is the driver, which is nice. I don't think the passenger does, no. You know, once again, you know, this was a relatively inexpensive car. You know, I'm surprised it has even the auto up and down in one. My truck has it on both passenger and driver front windows, which is kind of nice. It's not power seats. This one is all manual, which I honestly don't hate either. It does go up and down, which is nice, and it does it in a ratcheting fashion, which is also nice. The only thing, the mirrors work great. I love, so favorite feature of Fords, most of them that I have, are the little blind spot mirrors. And now you can see my house, congratulations. But these little blind spot mirrors are amazing. They work great, you can see. I don't like the cars that have the blind spot indicator. They're annoying to me. We've owned a couple cars that had it. We don't like it. We really like how Ford does that. I wish they did it on both windows, both mirrors of my truck. They only did it on one. But still, the one's great. Oh, also super nice, this sunroof. I'm not a sunroof person. I'm really not, because they all start to leak at some point. This car has it. We don't use it a lot. We probably use it twice or 3 times a year, which is kind of concerning, but we really like the placement of it, because you can open it, and when you're driving, the sun's not peering in on you like most of them. That's the one thing that I hated at first. I didn't like how far back it was, because when you're sitting here, I don't know if you can really see, but the sunroof isn't really above me, so it's just kind of like, well, what's the point? I'll be honest with you, it's super nice, because you can open it up, you can get enough light in here if you want it, if you need it, but it's when you do open it, the sun's not peering in on you, even when it's cold outside. Nobody likes to sit in the sun. At least my wife doesn't, because she's a redhead and she's, you know, ghost white, or table white rather. So yeah, I think that's about all I got about this car. I will try to plug in some videos. I took a little bit of driving it around. Hopefully you can hear the blow off valve. Oh yeah, it does. It has a blow off valve on it. Not like an expensive one. Actually, it's not even really a blow off valve. It just spaces out the factory one, so that way it just vents the atmosphere. Before all you go, yeah, well you're technically the venting the atmosphere is causing it not to boost as fast when you do shift gears. I get it. I know it's technically a diverter valve, so it diverts the leftover. This short version, there's way more technical stuff. It diverts the leftover pressure back into the intake to get the turbo to spool faster. Short version. There's way more technical stuff. Y'all roast me on it, and that's cool. I don't mind, but that's what it is. All you do is when you do that, when you put the one that I put in, spaces it out, just vents it to atmosphere. Why did I do that? If it hurts your performance. Why? Because I like the noise. That's simple. This car is not a drag car. I do not race on the streets. I don't I don't encourage it. I think it's dumb. There's so much bad stuff that happens. And now ask me about, if you'd asked me 20 years ago, yeah, it's a good idea. No, it's not. It's stupid. Don't do street racing. You want to go racing, go to the drag strip. Go to the firm and run on the track. Do SCCA rallycross. Do SCCA autocross. Find something else that gets you from doing that stupid stuff on the street. It's not so much what you're doing to you. It's in the event something goes wrong, and stuff does happen. We all know this. You know, you could be doing perfectly straight, tire blows out, you're doing 100 miles an hour. You're not going to only hurt you, you're going to hurt somebody else around you, and that's not fair. It's not even fair, isn't even the word.
Okay, so I realized that I said when you're doing 100 miles an hour, bad things happening on the street. Well, they can happen on the track as well. The difference is at the track, there's emergency personnel, there's procedures set in place to minimize the damage and minimize the danger. So
that's just dumb. Like I said, I did it when I was younger. I get it. I used to have video of it. I don't think I do anymore, but I'm not gonna post it up anyways. So I don't condone that. I used to, but it's dumb. You know, everybody, when you get a car and you finally figured out, like, yep, that's a forever car. I do not want to get rid of this car. I really enjoy this car. It's super useful. It gets very good fuel economy, although it costs $56 to fill it up right now, which is insanity all on its own. It's super fun, super versatile. You can use it for stuff. It's very practical, believe it or not, in a lot of sense, and it still makes turbo noises, and it gives you that sudden, what's the word that I'm a loss for? Boost lag, I guess is the word. It's not very much on this car, but it's a very kind of a cool feeling. Those of you who have driven a car that have that feeling, you know it's fun. Like I said, the car is not fast. It is very spunky. It is, it'll bob and weave through traffic when you need it to, which I don't condone either. Not that I would do such a thing ever. I don't street race though. I really don't. My wife will confirm it. I think it's stupid. The only problem with owning a car like this that makes the noises, you know, does have an exhaust, people want to race you. Folks, if you see me on the road and you try to race me, it's not gonna happen. I just don't do it. It's just, I do other racing. I race lemons. I do circle track to get that out of my system.
So this next little bit is about a friend of mine's 2015 Fiesta ST. I don't know what happened with the GoPro. I lost the beginning of this. These are just a couple mods that we're going through. Sorry about that.
We have done a downpipe, which that was a little bit of a nightmare because bolts broke, and anybody who knows the meme, a 10-minute job is one broken bolt away from being 6 hours. That's what that was. So we did a downpipe on it. I put a skid plate on it because he rallies it, and it was a very solid skid plate. It's welded to the subframe and also welded to the front frame horns, and then the skid plate bolts on the bottom. His has a 3-inch catback exhaust as well. For the life of me right now, I don't remember what brand his is. I know it doesn't sound bad, but he's been very curious about this one. I haven't been around him when we've been driving the car, but this one's been, the exhaust is a little different. It is a 3-inch catback MBRP, but in the very back, right before the exhaust, there is a 40 series Flowmaster. Somebody had it before I got it. I'm not changing it. I like the noise that it makes. It gets rid of some of the drone. So yeah, his car, doing a limited slip in one of these. We did it in his car, and I'll be honest with you, it was probably the easiest limited slip I've ever done, and it was in a front wheel drive transmission. So including pulling it out, swapping it over, putting it back in, I think I want to say like 4.5, 5 hours in it. I want to say it was not a lot to consider what you're doing, and that was a whole diff. Sorry, FedEx guy showed up delivering a fuel pump for me for a car at the shop. I don't know if there's anything else I really need to say. No, not even a little bit. Yeah. All right. So, in true Florida fashion, I just washed the car, and look what's coming this way. That would be rain, known as Florida, in a nutshell. Is what it is. So the next car I'll be doing is actually going to be an Acura Integra with a B20 swap. It is unfortunately an automatic, but that has its own entails, and I'll go over that one next week. Take care, guys.